Ken here, and welcome back to the Christian Way. So for this brief video, I'm going to discuss the Orthodox way and our 5 sources of the Christian tradition. Orthodox Church governs itself through what we call holy tradition. It comes from the Latin traditio, which comes from the Greek paradosis. Basically, it means something that has been passed down from one person to another or from a group to another. There are 5 sources of this Christian tradition. First is Holy Scripture, more commonly called the Bible. Second is the liturgy. Third are the councils. Fourth, the saints. And fifth, church art. Holy Scriptures are a written record of the experiences of God's people as His self-revelation to them or to us. The reason why we consider the Bible to be a tradition of the church, because there was a church before there was a New Testament, just like there was the Hebrew nation or tribe or peoples before there was an Old Testament. Therefore, the Bible is the book of the church. The second source of Orthodox tradition is the liturgy. The word liturgy in Greek just basically means common work. It is where the people come together to worship. This liturgy includes the divine liturgy, that's where communion is received. It also includes the hours, vespers, matins, feast days. This also includes those liturgies where we are expressing ourselves through the sacraments. So the divine liturgy, you always have communion. Let's briefly just touch on the sacraments. For the Orthodox Church, much like Catholics, we have 7. You will hear many other Orthodox, or if you read Orthodox materials, say mysteries. Typically we say sacraments in the Western world because the Western world is more used to hearing the word sacrament. But in the Eastern world we usually use the word mysteries. Well, what are they? There's baptism, chrismation, the Eucharist, also known as Holy Communion, confession, Holy Unction, marriage, and holy orders. The third source are the councils. Those in the church who have been given the authority to decide what is faithful and what is not. The first council was at the Council of Jerusalem, and you can read about that in Acts chapter 15. Councils decide many crucial questions, concerns, and often controversies. We see them formed in the creeds and the canons. Creeds are basically statements of faith, summaries of core doctrines that demonstrate a theological unity and tradition. We find creeds in the New Testament documents themselves. For an example, Romans 10:9 is a creed. We also see creeds in 1 Corinthians 15, verses 3 through 4, as well as 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 18, and other places in the Bible. I always kind of find it amazing when I encounter somebody who says, I'm a Bible-believing Christian, we don't have a creed. And I say, well, if you're a Bible-believing Christian, you do have creeds because there are creeds in the Bible. The most famous of all the creeds is the Nicene Creed, which the majority of Christians will say at least every Sunday at church, and many of us say it daily in our prayers, sometimes twice a day. Canons. Well, canon comes from the Greek canon, which just means a ruler or a yardstick of which you measure things by. It is the word we use to measure the normative practices and traditions of the church. There are bodies of rules and norms to regulate teachings, doctrines, as well as discipline in the church. Saints of the church. In the Orthodox Church we have many saints. Mary is the highest of all the saints. And saints are basically there as heroes of the church. They are people that we look towards to imitate their lives as they have reached holiness and gone on to be with the Lord. So we look at their life and we try to imitate it. As Paul says, imitate me as I imitate Christ. This shouldn't seem so foreign to any of us, actually. We all have heroes that we look to be like at some level. When I was a teen and I loved football, it was Terry Bradshaw. He was my big hero. in the martial arts, Bruce Lee or Bill Superfoot Wallace. We look at people and we say, oh, I want to be like that person. It's kind of a natural inclination. It's why role models are so important. It's why we want fathers in the homes with their children. We know statistically, if they're not there, there's more juvenile delinquency. We look for someone to imitate, to be like, and we look at the good things or the bad things. Well, the saints, we see the good things about them, and the things that we know about their record that were bad, we go, oh, that's what we want to avoid, because they tell us to avoid that. So saints are very, very important in the Orthodox tradition. And the last of these 5 sources is church art. What is church art? Well, church art is the use of material things as a medium for God's revelation to us. God has used the material world, like becoming incarnate. Also, such as the building of the tabernacle, the building of the Ark of the Covenant. He uses material things to reveal himself to us. Church art includes the architecture of our buildings. It includes icons, music, and other variable material things for us to use as we participate in this worship of growing closer to God. Well, the next video series will be on the Bible, the first source. I don't know how many videos that will be. I know exactly what I want to say, but I'm assuming it'll probably be 4 to 5 videos. It won't be getting too in-depth, but in-depth enough to get the point across about the scriptures and their importance for the Orthodox Church as well as Christians everywhere. Thank you so much.